As we're gradually moving back to opening schools and businesses and, of course, our in-person interactions, I want to remind you, this is all time with cold and flu season getting going. Staying hydrated is key to helping your body deal with the added stress and with the upcoming flu season. My regular fans have heard me talk about a product called Hydrolyte for a long time now. It's an amazing rapid rehydration drink. It's a mix that, well, we're obsessed with here. I'm excited to announce they've just released Hydrolyte Plus Immunity just in time for cold and flu season. Hydrolyte Plus Immunity starts with their fast-absorbing electrolytes and adds a host of immune-boosting ingredients. Each single-serve, easy-pour drink mix contains 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C and 300 milligrams of elderberry extract, creates what is hopefully immune-boosting formula that's high in antioxidants and zinc. Combining this with Hydrolyte's 7 key electrolytes, it's a fantastic way to stay proactive and properly hydrated. Hydrolyte Plus Immunity comes in convenient, easy-to-pour powder sticks that rapidly dissolve in water and make a great tasting drink that has 75% less sugar than your typical sports drink. It uses all natural flavors and it is gluten-free, dairy-free, caffeine-free, non-GMO, and it is vegan. And you can find Hydrolyte Plus by visiting hydrolyte.com/Dr. Drew. Again, that's HYDRALYTE.com/DRDRW. And be sure to use our code Dr. Drew 25 at checkout for a special discount. I am so grateful for our friends at Blue Microphones. Not only have they completely changed what our show sounds like, they've given me headphones so I can monitor things better. This is the mic for millions of creative people, and now I know why. I'm so grateful for them completely changing the quality of our audio. You'll find Blue mics like Yeti and the Mouse, which we're using here, both in pro studios and home studios, literally all over the world. Their popular Yeti caster is a Blue Yeti microphone, plus a boom arm system that's behind many of your favorite podcasts. I run into them all the time, and now I know why. What? If you've ever thought about creating your own podcast or YouTube channel, Blue can make you sound and look great. Just visit bluemic.com and click Get Started, and you can start telling your story.
Hey everyone, it's a dose of Dr. Drew. Should I put his mic on? How about if I brought my mic over? Yeah. Oh, your blue mic? Oh God. Oh. Okay. All right.
So anyway, wait. Mic will be good. Thank you. Sorry about that.
I'm adding a little code on the Hydrolyte commercial. Hydrolyte high and tight.
Hydrolyte and tight.
Hydrolyte. Oh, Hydrolyte and tight.
There you go.
Sorry.
We'll ring Loveline back. Somebody's asking on Twitch. Happily would if anybody would want us to do it.
We have kind of an interesting idea though.
After Dark is sort of the modern version of that.
So if you watch After Dark, you'll sort of see that. Sex with Emily.
We'll talk about that for a second. We had sex with Emily with us over the weekend.
We had sex with Emily over the weekend.
We had the individual sex with Emily, the host of Sex with Emily with us over the weekend.
My favorite post is I love Sex with Emily.
It gets confusing.
I know. It's great. It's awesome.
But so talk to them about what you're thinking.
All right, here, let me zoom in on that. So anyways, I have this idea. Oops, I have to shoot. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, I'm doing this in a hurry today. So I have this idea to have a once a week segment with Emily Morse, who is from Sex with Emily, and talk more about mental health
and
relationships and because I get a lot of suggestions to do mental health, and then also have a lot of publicists and stuff that are like, we have this mental health person we'd really like to have on the show. But Emily's such a great host of the Sex with Emily show on Sirius Radio. She is able to drive it very well. I like it. So and I think that we actually get along really well too.
And Joe, I see that you're on a Zoom call still over at Locals. But we're at Locals the last couple hours and sharing stuff, and they're still there, and they're watching us now, and they're on the stream. I don't know how you. That's not dual tasking. That's tricasting.
Go to Dr. Drew.
.locals.com.
and you can be on the Zoom meeting. Go to who is it? It was who had the meeting link?
It was on Casey's little on the thread there on the news.
Casey Gates.
But so let me respond to something that R Bryant 100 is asking. He says vaccinating long-term care patients over first responders is insane. Here's my concern. The real at-risk yes, the nursing home patients are a major risk group. My question though is, the other major risk group who have a similar risk category is other 80-year-olds who are up and about in the world. And if you're in a nursing home, your life expectancy is 6 to 18 months on average. So that's it. You're going to be gone soon. The 80-year-olds that are out in the world may live another 12, 14 years, and yet they are at the same risk of dying from the COVID, and we are going to put them in the 1B group for vaccination. That is my concern. To not to have the long-term care patients or the 80-year-olds over some of the first responders, that actually is reasonable, because first responders tend to be young people that recover from this thing. I was talking to, if you know, Tom Segura broke his arm and his leg and has ended up in the hospital.
Let's talk about that.
So Tom Segura
Describe what happened.
Well, he and Bert Kreischer decided they had to have a dunking contest with a bunch of 19-year-olds. It's all on video. They're going to have a end of the year special where they air it and his X-rays and everything else. I just heard that, and well, Christina, when she was in the hospital, she went to visit the COVID unit, and they were a lot of COVID patients. They had sort of an ad hoc ICU type setting where they were.
You didn't explain how Tom hurt himself.
Doing like I said,
a slam dunk. He came down and broke his arm and his
leg.
Tell him how. What part of his leg?
His knee and his patella.
He like snapped it in half.
He probably cracked the patella in half. That's sort of the way that works. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to show all his X-rays and everything else.
But then tell him what they did afterwards. Can you tell him what they?
Well,
their idea of how to take care of Tom Segura, like one of the most powerful.
He
guys
signed
in
himself
the world in comedy.
He signed himself out of the hospital, and his wife called me and said, "Okay, I need to put him in the hotel with a nurse. And how do I get a nurse?" I'm like, "Do not do that. Do not do that." Back in the day, many years, long ago, when people got multiple orthopedic injuries, they lie in bed and get blood clots and pneumonia and die. This is not something that you just get a nurse to wipe his butt in the hotel room.
Two broken bones.
He needs to go into the hospital.
And he needs surgery.
He needs to go into the hospital. And they were like, "Okay, well, he's going to the orthopedist." I said, and then you tell the orthopedist you're going directly to the hospital. So
doesn't this tell you how ridiculous we are in medicine?
Well,
like the layperson
yes,
or the comedian.
Anybody that wants special care is going to get bad care.
No, but the decision making when somebody is injured,
yes,
like that is so out there. Like these seem like very rational, smart human beings.
They are. But
and it sounded like the time when Rick Carroll was had a bunch of cocaine and somebody got shot and they called you and said,
yes,
"Come over and bandage up this guy in our hotel room."
Right.
And he had a gunshot.
I was like, "No."
Okay, I can tell this story now because the guy's dead.
Yeah.
But we were driving to dinner downtown LA, and I was like, and you were like, I'm not going to go to a hotel room and patch up a criminal in the middle of the night. But this is
it was weird how people think.
And he was rich and he was smart, but
so
dumb as shit. Thinking that's okay.
He went to the orthopedist, and the orthopedist said, "What are you doing here? You need to go directly to the hospital," just like I said.
But because of COVID, nobody wants to go to the hospital.
Well, whatever. That's why people are dying above and beyond the COVID. So remind yourself.
My
of
love
that.
and prayers go out to Mr. Tom Segura and Christina P.
So he went to operation. He was operated on his upper extremities, lower extremities simultaneously. And now most of the conversations that Christina and I have on After Dark about how to get Tom to take a shit and how that works when you have your leg in a cast and your arm in a cast.
Well, after you have surgery, they don't let you out until you fart.
Oh,
if you take a shit, it's not okay, but you have to be able to fart after you had a major surgery like that.
Right. You're thinking of abdominal surgeries. It's a little different with orthopedic surgeries.
No, they make you shit and fart after that too.
It's a little different with orthopedic surgeries. They will be happier if you shit. That's true.
They're okay with it.
But the farting is not the big deal. That's abdominal surgery.
I had it in both because I dislocated my knee and I had a full hernia surgery and I had a tummy tuck and I also had a cesarean for triplets. So
yep.
I have that experience etched in my mind about having to fart after surgery. So
yep,
it's pretty fun.
So checking out wants to know, is the vaccine going to be safe or should I hold off? I already had COVID and recovered. If you had COVID and recovered, you can forget about the vaccine. You were safe. You were good to go. Enjoy your life.
Okay. So
you are the population we are jealous of.
I'm going to interrupt you again. Okay. Can we talk about what's going on with the California restaurants and how we've just spent the whole weekend freaking out?
Go ahead.
Well, I think that, closing down the restaurants in Southern Cal or in LA County and Orange County and all the way up to what? San Francisco, I suppose.
Now I think the whole state's closed down.
Are they?
Yeah.
Is the worst idea ever in the history of man. And I'm feeling like individuals don't matter who work to pay for their families and who run businesses, small businesses. And, the elite can get whatever the fuck they want, but the small business owners are getting screwed right now. And we're all just sitting around watching this, and it's making me insane. And so I don't know. I texted Mark Garagos today just out of the blue, and I said, Drew wants to run for governor because I finally decided that that's what I want you to do. Because that's the only thing I can think of.
To help.
And he
this.
said, and then I said, and also can we sue Governor Newsom? I said this like yesterday or this morning or whatever. And he goes, oh, as a matter of fact, he goes, do you have enough? I don't know if you have enough money for that or whatever. And I said, to sue Governor Newsom or to run for governor. And so we joked about it. And then the next day, I get this text from Ileana, and she says, my girlfriend Ileana, who's friends with Catherine Barger and also Mark Garagos, she goes, look at, yay, Mark. So he was suing the Board of Supervisors of LA County.
Overturning their order is what I understand.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my God. So I texted him again. I said, listen, I go, this is amazing. He goes, I'm going into the hearing right now. And I go, we're all going to pray for you. So hopefully our prayers come true, because I just find it so irrational to take the livelihood of those who have been trying so hard to get their lives back together.
Right.
Those who are left, we've already lost probably.
And the important thing to understand is the reason this overturning was successful is something I've been saying for weeks, which is there is zero evidence upon which to base these policies. So when you are overreaching into people's civil rights, you have to have a really significant reason to justify doing so. And a justification is not, this is the thing please remember, if you hear nothing else, all these streams we've done, when healthcare workers say, I have to do something, that is how doctors kill patients. I taught residents for years, and this was one of my primary the things I pounded them on. Do no harm, do no harm, do no harm. When you feel like you have to do something, but there is no evidence, there's no research that gives you the justification for doing something, then you do nothing. Then you wait, because doing something hurts the patient. That's called iatrogenesis. When you hear, why is the music coming back?
Sorry, no.
So when you hear about all the bad things happening in hospitals and stuff, a lot of that happens because doctors feel, I got to do something. And when you do something, you hurt the patient. Do no harm. And these public health officials seem completely unfazed in doing harm. And I could not sleep if I were them, doing these horrible things to people's lives and upending them and their employees. It's really
we
challenging.
Met with some restaurant owners that we knew, and
we've been going around to restaurants and handing out money to the valet and the office, everybody, just to try to support them.
Yeah.
They're going to be going through the holidays without their jobs, without their businesses. It is really reprehensible.
I was so
now,
upset.
somebody just made a comment here. About, yes, Anthony Brown, I'm sure that you were supporting your local sushi joint. You were doing a good job.
We love you, Anthony.
Somebody said,
some mean sushi. Let me tell you,
Anthony C says, you're saying Giuliani's out of the hospital. Apparently he's out of the hospital tomorrow is what I'm hearing. But I don't know much about it.
But anyways,
that
kudos
case.
to Mark Garagos for going in there and really fighting for it. I just mentioned it to him because I was in one of those moods, and I like to grab Mark occasionally and tell him my feelings, and he was already on it. So I'm really, really excited.
Ava B says, my peers are really suffering. Yes. And nobody seems to give one rat's hiney about that. And it's breathtaking.
I know.
Also, what was the other thing I just saw here on the thread I wanted to comment on?
And we will get Mark Garagos on here this week. because I want to talk to him.
Yeah, it would be nice to hear what he's very excited about all this.
Oh, no,
He feels
I'm-
very
well,
much vindicated.
I have an inside. I have a mole, and she said, "Yeah, I don't want to say." It. Anyways, because she texted me the picture and
The
and
picture of
or the thing about the restaurant suing the restaurant. She goes, "Great for Mark," and she said he kicked county council's ass. He may even have the state shaking a bit. There's a possibility the state will back off. It's amazing. We'll wait and see. And then he will try to seal the deal without a trial. But my personal opinion, Newsom's such an egotistical maniac, he'll refuse to be bested.
and somebody mentioned it, made a comment. Please listen. Please do not interpret what I'm saying. Just take what I'm saying at face value. Making a point that many first responders have died because of contracting COVID.
Absolutely, it's terrible.
They should be vaccinated. What I was commenting on was putting nursing home patients ahead of them, which I said was a problem.
I kind of
and
agree
not
with that.
only that, but putting same age patients who have a much longer life expectancy behind the first responders and behind the nursing home patients. That's what I was calling into question. So that's it. To me, that seems like a non-evidence-based approach to taking care of this properly.
No.
Yeah, David Morris says pediatricians are prescribing more antidepressants to children than ever before. I have no doubt about that.
Which is horrible.
It's horrible. And by the way, schools closed for no reason.
Oh, and then California
reason.
closed down all the playgrounds. I was like, really? Oh my God, kids aren't even.
So,
affected by-
but let's go to the numbers though, because we're in the middle of a surge, right?
I know, I understand that.
We have a problem here. Houston, we have a problem. So I was looking at some of the numbers in California and comparing them to Texas and Florida. And with our heavy lockdowns in California, we are worse off than Florida, which is completely open, and Texas, which is mostly open. My question is, why do the public health officials insist on using a sledgehammer? Let's say it's Florida, and they start having a problem. Can't they go in strategically? Look, how did the city of New York decide, Susan, when there was a typhoid fever outbreak in the city of New York in the turn of the century, did they shut down New York City?
Nope.
What did they do?
I don't know.
Typhoid fever.
They gave everybody some Tylenol.
Typhoid fever.
I don't know, honey.
Typhoid Mary.
I don't know.
They found the source of the outbreak. They studied it.
They found her.
Found the source, and then strategically went in and isolated the source.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that
For
story.
for instance, in Los Angeles, Hispanic patients are just getting annihilated by it. Why are Hispanics doing so badly in this outbreak? By the same token, African Americans in Los Angeles are doing better than anywhere else in the country. Why? Let's figure out what's going right. Let's figure out what's going wrong. And let's correct these things as opposed to taking a sledgehammer and ruining hundreds of thousands of lives. It's too much. It's too much. We need to get the vaccine rolling. We need
They
to get
need
it
to
out
find
immediately.
Maria Tifoide.
Tom Cigars likes the late night streams here. We came on late today because I don't have to do Fox 11 tonight. Got preempted by football or something. Yeah, football, I think. So
I'm going to let you do the rest of the talking tonight.
no, you've done a good job. I'm all ears.
It's late. I'm tired.
Thoughts on Cornell making flu vaccine mandatory for white students? Well, what? For white students? While Biden wants to prioritize COVID for... I don't know what to make of that. That story doesn't sound right to me. Something was wrong. Nicole, 10 to 12 Benadryl bad times makes you agitated. You can get something called an anticholinergic delirium. It will not sedate you. It will make you encephalopathic. Okay, the doctor spoke yesterday about ivermectin, saying it's a miracle drug. The BAPA says, I wouldn't call anything a miracle right now. There was an interesting, somebody sent me an interesting video. Did you get that video, Susan? I wanted to talk to that guy. I wanted to bring him on this show. The guy's not a physician. He's sort of a business guy, but he had some sort of background in biology, I think. Anyway, he gave a really nice review of the data on ivermectin in multiple countries, and it does look really good. Ivermectin really.
The Ravens are
good.
winning.
Ah, hallelujah. Edmund Kemper, I'm just seeing you now, so I don't know what you had previously asked me. Let's see if I scroll up. I can't find it. So again, it is hard for me to see everything that scrolls by, everybody.
Do you think we could have Catherine Barger pop in tomorrow during Jason Ellis's show with Ask Dr. Drew? Just to do a quick little cameo.
If she wants.
Okay.
I mean, I have no problem with that. I'm 17. I had COVID 2 months ago. Felt like a cold for me. I found that Alka-Seltzer helped. Do you think it's possible to catch the virus twice? You will not get it twice, Ernest. Do not worry about it. The question is, the vaccine pretty clearly is going to give you long-term immunity. Whether there'll need to be boosters after a few years, we don't know. But if COVID-2 is anything like COVID-1, there's a bunch of data that came out recently that showed that COVID-1 immunity lasted about 17 years. So we're expecting COVID-2 to last as well. Why are they shutting restaurants when the flights are packed? Yep. And why? Did you see that video with the woman whose restaurant had been closed down? She had set up all the outdoor specifications per the county, who then shut her down. And then an NBC television production was set up in the same parking lot, a giant tent with tons of people in it for the production. Perfect sense. Yeah, Chris Mortensen. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, Chris Mortensen was the guy whose video I watched.
So, Drew, where were you when the alert went off on your phone, and what did you think it was before you looked at it?
Fortunately, my phone did not buzz, so it was just sitting there when I looked at my phone.
Oh.
It's no surprise here. They've been doing this since March, right?
I just thought maybe a child was abducted or something. Like, I did not expect that it was going to be a stay-at-home order at all.
Okay. Tamara, doctors are prescribing things when you get COVID. They're prescribing doxycycline has some benefit there. Azithromycin might have some benefit. Steroids have benefit. Ivermectin might have some benefits. Persantine may have some use here. There's a lot of stuff that a doctor with some experience with this could offer some other interventions for your boyfriend. It's your girlfriend's boyfriend, something like that.
So Drew, Andrea on Facebook wants to know if you think Barbara Ferrer is qualified to be a health director.
I wish that physicians were in these positions, because it's clear to me watching these people make these decisions, they are not used to making life and death decisions. That's all I did for 30 years, was make life and death decisions all the time. You get very skilled at assessing when you should act, how aggressive you should be, how you can make things worse. It's clear to me these people haven't the slightest idea about that, and as such are devastating people's lives for not good evidence-based approaches to interventions.
But if she's a social worker, don't you think she'd be more concerned about the people in the restaurants that are going to lose their jobs?
You would think. India's mystery illness, Mark. I'm sorry, I still don't know what that is yet. ICP's holiday podcast tomorrow. Angela, thank you for alerting me about that. Susan, we gotta tune into ICP's holiday pod. Your friends at Insane Clown Posse. So
they should invite you.
Somebody's got to alert them that I want to talk to them.
I know.
Please.
He likes the bitches.
What is this? Sorry, just really
get us
quickly.
on the list. Whoever that was, Grum's Block.
Yeah. So this is interesting. Senator Ron Johnson just tweeted something. He has a physician who's saying, "We are tired. We can't keep doing this. I can't be traumatized by caring for patients when I know they could have been saved with early treatment." Yeah. That is one of my concerns, is that they're not trying things early when the virus is replicating. There are things we can do that are not hurtful.
He's testifying on the Hill. I'm going to post it.
Somebody put the link on the thread here.
I'm going to post it for everybody on the other.
Yeah. Housemate has a cold, but I take quercetin. I didn't get sick. Yay. I hope you take some zinc with that. Up here in Oregon, 113 cases in a nursing home, 4 died. We are getting better at treating this. We certainly are. It's absolutely true. I hear lots of cases now from people who've been in the ICU, which we used to never hear. Once you got to the ICU, your probability of getting out were really low at the beginning. Now it's quite high. Can we get a quick COVID breakdown for San Diego? You have to look up, I'll try. San Diego County, see if they have this. County COVID, let's see if they've got this data. Coronavirus San Diego County, status update. Let's see.
Let me ask me if I'm a juggalo.
You are. 7.2%, 14-day average of new cases, 2,000.
Was that the one that threw up on you?
No. The juggalo is that the clown faces. Shaggy Two Dope you just said said something about us in the video.
Right.
I'm looking at the reporting. It does not look that bad in San Diego County. I mean, it's, you're in the middle of a thing here, but it looks like you're at 80% of bed capacity. You have plenty of ICU.
Somebody wants to know how often you see the Ace Man.
He just called while we started this thread.
We should have him come on here
every day. Here we go.
God, he could be on your show every day. You guys talk for like an hour every day.
You're right. So
Maybe that's what he wants.
COVID cases by illness onset date. Okay. So here's a graph. You're having an outbreak. Shocking. You didn't know that, huh? You're down 2,000 cases a day, but today you were down to, looks like about 400. So it looks like you're sort of peaking in some way. The thing does spike around a bit. We'll see. Again, only the virus knows how it's doing. This is what's going on everywhere. I mean, we're having an outbreak. That's what we're having. So,
I mean,
what should bother you is if you look at the graph. Susan, I wonder if I could send you this graph.
Sure. Mail it to me.
Let me see if I can.
Mail it to me.
I downloaded it. Okay.
We've had Scott Adams on. He shunned us when he was busy with politics. Maybe he'll come on now.
Okay, hold on. Downloads. Shoot.
I know. Sometimes you can't. Can you just send me the link? I can put the link up of the graph.
COVID-19. Does it update? Hold on. I'm almost there. This is what's hard. COVID-19 status update. Okay.
If you send me the link, I can post that.
There it is. Well, I have to find it. It's the problem. I'm sending it to you now.
Grass, please.
Here we go. All right, it's going to you. Any event.
Brandy Meyer said, my mom just got over COVID. Thankfully, she did fine. If we could just get people in our town to wear masks.
Yeah.
I wonder where that
People are saying Oklahoma is really bad shape. So let me look in Oklahoma. Everybody's in bad shape, guys. I mean, we're all having an outbreak here. But the problem is Oklahoma does not look.
How many deaths are there?
Oklahoma,
that's a question.
The deaths in Oklahoma are today 15 deaths in the state of Oklahoma. Please give me a break. Now, hospital-wise, you're going up pretty high.
Yeah, but the news is telling them that it's terrible, and
I know.
All the hospitals are full.
The case rate is, that you peaked out about. What is this? Peaked at 6,000 cases. Now you're down to 2,000 cases. You've peaked. You're going down. Hospitalization is probably what everyone's upset about, but you still have plenty of room. We're in an outbreak. Here's the thing. This is what should upset you. So looking at Oklahoma, for instance, in May, you had 500 people and 300 people in the hospital. In July, you had 600 people in the hospital. And now you have 1,500 people in the hospital. In May, they told you it was a catastrophe and staggering and grim. In July, they told you it was catastrophic, cataclysmic, and what were some of the other words I heard? And so, what do you call it now when you're literally at 4 times the hospitalization rate? They've overplayed their hand. They've used words that were so frightening, and then they're trying to
think of new words.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
bigger words.
Yeah, is 1,500. Is this the big outbreak, or will we get to 3,000 a day in Oklahoma? Only the virus knows. So it really has to be much more positive.
But if it's
everybody.
Younger people and there's less people dying and they're getting the virus, they're okay.
But we're talking about the level of hospitalization, which is what's troubling people, and reasonably so.
Somebody said that when you're in the ICUs, want to be like full. So
well, this is a different thing, which is. We staff hospitals the way you staff airlines. You make sure you sell all the seats, and then you staff it up. And so we hold the population at the level we can staff it to. We're going above that. The problem is, are we going to be able to find the doctors and staff to do that? But the question is, if they're really having a concern about staff, why aren't they putting out a call? Mm-hmm. Why aren't they putting out a call for physicians to come in, like New York did? I signed up in New York back in July. Mm-hmm. Was it even July? May? It was like May. Or March, I signed up to be part of a team that they asked to be ready to deploy if things got worse. It didn't get worse. So we'll see. Homeless people are pooping on the sidewalks. That's been happening forever, Dr. Riddle. That's just the way it goes.
That's true. What about the guy that pooped on Nancy Pelosi's lawn?
Right. We had a call. We had one of our someone call in here who was the kid, a homeless kid, who was one that took a dump on Nancy Pelosi's driveway because he thought it was ridiculous that he could take a crap wherever he wanted. It's shocking how few ICU beds exist. Look, we can expand. That's the point of public health, is to expand the
Right.
ICU capacity. We can expand up. We can do it. And to have the population worrying about the job of public health, that's awful. That's not what public health is supposed to do. Public health is supposed to be sending us messages to encourage proper behavior. And you do that with humor, narrative, and character, like anything else. It's a story. You get people engaged with it. You use humor to enroll them. And then they, guess what, start to do what they're supposed to do. And whatever's going wrong in the Hispanic community, where they are transporting it so much, maybe we need to send some messages in there or do something with that, whatever the environments are that are contributing to it, rather than using a sledgehammer on the entire state. It's really, oof.
I just downloaded this thing, but I don't know where
So
it's
again, I mean, and the other thing right now is the other reason people aren't listening. The leaders have been hypocritical. They've been seen doing whatever they want while they're telling us how to live our lives. Number one. Number two, yeah, I know, Anthony. I know about all that. Talking about the new DA. And so
Well,
they're hypocritical.
finish your
Number one.
thing, and then-
Number two, they have again overplayed their hand with all the rhetoric they've used about how devastating and dangerous, and people now, everybody knows someone that's had this thing and has had mild disease. Everyone. Very few people, unfortunately, know someone who's had serious trouble with it. So most people are not apt to listen then to these dire warnings that they're constantly using. Okay. Chris Mortensen video about ivermectin. Yep, Joe, it's a good video. I agree with you. Thank you for sending it to me. In the previous pandemics, have they affected people as inconsistently as this one? Rudy, the H1N1 pandemic of 2009, where we had tents, where emergency rooms were overcrowded, where hospitals were overburdened, you don't know it happened, but it happened. Killed about 15,000 people in this country, mostly 20 to 40-year-olds. It didn't kill older people. It killed young people, which you could argue, if you were arguing years of life lost, H1N1 actually had a bigger number, a bigger impact in terms of years of lives lost. It also killed 650,000 worldwide, and it, went off the way it's supposed to, with public health doing their job, with the physicians doing what they need to do. And I had H1N1. Yep, I did, Brandy. That's right. And it nearly killed me. It was, it's funny.
When you say that, though, I don't remember it nearly killing you. It just made you feel you were sick.
I could not walk.
Yeah,
right?
But it didn't.
And I remember I talked to a COVID patient yesterday. She was like, it was so bad I could barely walk. And I thought, yeah, I couldn't walk for 3 days.
I know, but it didn't nearly kill you. That you say that, but that's I feel like it's an exaggeration, because I didn't feel like you were gonna die.
I kept calling the infectious disease doctor and discussing that fact. Just so you know, we would talk about it. It made you
very.
I was toxic, which is the cytokine storm, and we discussed what would happen if this continued.
Maybe you didn't want to scare me.
I did not want to. I did not want to tell you any of this,
because I don't remember you almost, nearly killing you. I remember you were really sick, and.
Well, think about it this way: I was right in that age group that died from it, and was severely ill from it.
It's true.
Yeah, interesting.
But I know it felt like that, but I wasn't that worried about it because you were in the hospital.
Right. And how many times have you not been worried about situations with our kids or family where I've had to tell you need to worry about it?
Could be bad.
How many times does that happen? Think about it. I mean,
I guess, yeah. Maybe.
It was not good.
I agree. You were really sick. I had to carry you to the hospital. So.
Yeah, that's right. So
it's strange. It's a weird feeling, having all that inability to, take care of yourself and know that you're going to be okay. It's a very strange feeling.
That when you can't walk?
Yeah, when you can't function and stuff. It's so frightening. Really frightening.
Well, that's not supposed to happen unless you're really seriously ill.
I know.
So, anyway, should people stop having social gatherings? Good idea. Good idea not to have lots of people in a social gathering. Yes, that's a good idea. I had a friend of mine my age died from COVID, survived it. Didn't walk my dog for days, couldn't shop for weeks, right? That's sort of how this thing works. It's unsustainable spread, not the ICU beds. Walter, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. What about all the people who won't vaccinate? They may be okay because we're going to have herd immunity pretty quickly. And they're actually suggesting now that the people are going to be seeking the vaccine because of the short supply. In other words, much like the flu vaccine, many years we're begging people to take it, except when we have short supply, then everybody wants it. That's human behavior right there.
I'm trying to get that chart, but I downloaded it. For some reason, it's going somewhere weird on my computer, and I can't find it.
Which is that?
That chart you emailed to me.
Oh.
The thing we talked about a half an hour ago. So, is this it? I wonder if this is it. Nope, that's AirVet.
I sent you an email with no content on the.
I got it. And then when I downloaded it, I can't find it once it gets on my computer. Sorry.
Now, the game guy says, Dr. Campbell, another doctor said they're pleading with media to stop attacking doctors and ruining their careers. I'm not quite sure what that is, game guy. Tell me what they did or what they were talking about. H1N1 when I was pregnant. Oh, boy. I thought I was going to die, she said. Melissa says. Yep. I ended up in labor and delivery with contractions at 20 weeks. Oh, my God. Thank God that stopped. Home here now. Yep, indeed. Herd immunity by summer? I think so. The state says beds are the issue, but really it's the levels of spread that we're near a tipping point exponentially. They talk about ICU beds because that's more abstract and won't clear TP from the shelves. We're in sort of an exponential thing in California. Again, whenever you find an area where they've locked it down hard, you see greater spread. Israel, look what happened to Israel. They got under control, they lift it up, boom, it really explodes. States that have sort of let it percolate along a little bit have done a little bit better.
This is a PDF, that's why I can't get it. I need a link to it, to these charts. Yeah.
I can't do that because there was 30 charts and I just wanted one of them.
All right, let me take pictures on my phone. And then
take on nasal rinsing. Halagel. I'm a fan. I think nasal rinsing is a good idea. Do you think it will go down soon? Ashley's asking. It's hard to tell, right? That's what I'm saying. Are we at a high level now, or is high level twice this? It's very hard to tell. Only the virus knows, and I suspect us changing our behavior will have a significant impact on bringing this thing down. I think most people are trying to do their best. I'm looking at California. I mean, California, there's still a positive slope on everything. If you look at the United States data, it's clear that we're hitting a plateau. Now, maybe we're going to stay at that plateau, which would be kind of nasty. And by the same token, looks like California is trying to get to a plateau, but it's just not there yet.
So these are the same charts that you got from the guy on Locals.
Not this. This was San Diego. This is
San Diego?
Yeah, it's just San Diego.
Okay, I'm taking pictures of it.
So mission, my goal is not to give you anxiety, so tell me how I'm giving you anxiety.
Yeah, you're giving me anxiety.
Why?
I don't know, you're kind of anxious right now.
It's kind of crazy Texas and Florida have lower numbers. Yes, Ashley, the two states that are, Florida particularly, wide open, is not having any surge.
Oh, well, there was that one guy from Florida that was saying that the COVID tests were being not counted correctly and they were going to have an investigation on it. I just saw that in the news.
Say it again, that what?
There's a guy that said that they're looking at the numbers in other states because they're totally miscounted. Oh. I think they count the same person 3 times sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, that's what they were doing before, but there's going to be a recount, let me tell you. I believe it because, we're just believing whatever numbers we're getting.
Kendra, this is more panic porn for you. The antibodies do last. Not that they don't last. They do last, and they certainly last a good 6 months. Then antibodies always go up and go down. Then cellular immunity kicks in, which is memory B cells and T cells. And that has now shown to be very robust with this illness. And in SARS coronavirus 1, that lasts up to 17 years. And the vaccine itself seems to be an even more robust response. So there you go. So the immunity after having COVID for sure 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 15 years. They're trying to
I
figure
figured
that out.
it
There
out.
it
I'm
is.
just going to put the chart
Oh,
up
see,
from
all the
that
charts
you
came
emailed
through.
me.
So we got to go way
I know.
down.
I was trying to take pictures, but there's too many. So
So we got to go down about 10 charts.
say, which one do you want?
Keep going down.
Wait.
Down, 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 down. This is all San Diego's data. Somebody asked about there. That. Up,
So
up.
what's the website for this?
San Diego County COVID. What is in those? What are those arrows? What do those things in those markers say?
It says, okay.
In those
so
windows, those little
November
windows.
10th, San Diego County, purple tier, like right here.
Meaning it was
Yeah.
shut down.
Yeah. And then down
So-
here, it's Blueprint for a Safer Economy, August
Right, so
31st.
they sort of trying to open up,
And
but
this
then they lock
says-
down, and that does nothing.
This is very hard to read. Something that began during this time yet to be reported. Oh.
Andrew, you should not be vaccinated after infection unless no, I just don't see it.
Talk to your doctor.
Unless a year or so from now we find that people need the vaccine as sort of a booster. Yeah, they should be giving you positive messages about doing things right, getting it going, getting this under control. And what does that top window say again at the San Diego
Right
thing?
here?
Yeah,
It says, oh God, it's hard to read.
I'm sure.
Illnesses that began this time may not be reported.
Whatever that means. And yet they're going, if you see where your cursor is now, you'll see that it's going down on the other side of that. So
maybe this was some kind of weird thing.
maybe there's some backlog or something they're talking about there. Any event,
Tier
I
one
think
purple.
I mean, look, the virus goes up, it goes down. And how far it goes up before it goes down, it's very hard to tell. In the meantime, you do the best you can to protect yourself, protect your family, and that's that.
But ruining livelihoods may not be the.
But ruining livelihoods. Let's see.
We
Nothing
just
will
have to be
change.
responsible and try to work around it. You know. I mean, obviously, if you're sick, don't go out. I mean,
If you've had COVID, you should not get the vaccine. No.
And
not
if you've
not
had
until
COVID,
there's
you
recommended
can
guidance.
go out to dinner.
Not right. You can do anything you want. You're protected.
No,
Not until you have guidance on whether vaccines should be given to people that have had the COVID. I would suspect not, at least not for about a year, I suspect. I'm 45, recovered fine, tested for antibodies. Yes, you're positive for IgG. I'm sure of that. They want me to meet with the clown posse.
We met somebody today that did all the Ronald McDonald uniforms, 200 of them.
How soon? I know. That's.
I don't think she's here.
Okay. How soon will we see a
Probably.
decrease in death once the vaccine is in place?
Speaking of clown
it'll be a
posse.
few months. Remember, it takes 6 weeks to get the full course of the vaccine and the immunity to kick in. So it's going to be a little while. It's going to be spring probably before we really start to see a change. The real question is, what's going to happen between now and then? How many people are going to get this thing?
Dr. Drew or Susan, don't ask me. Can you recommend anything for diarrhea? Dialysis patient who is COVID positive, Imodium is not recommended for him.
Wow. Boy, you got to talk to the nephrologist because his fluid and acid-base status can get off really easily. So you've got to talk to the... makes me wonder if they might give him like an aluminum antacid or something just to kind of tie him up a little bit.
I knew that.
Let's see. Thoughts on national news coverage. What would you like to know, Michael? I think this is on the order of 10 times higher morbidity rate from H1N1. Let's think about it. So I was comparing it in years of life lost, right? So there were 15,000, let's just pick the average age, 40-year-olds. It was 20 to 50-year-olds that died from H1N1. So let's say 40-year-olds. So that's 40 years times 15,000. So 40 times 15,000 is years of life lost. Let's just, if I have 40 times 15,000 is 600,000 years of life lost. COVID is, where are we? Let's say 300,000 just for the sake of argument, times average age of someone who dies, 80, 70. So let's just give it 5 years, 10 years on average. Let's say 10 years on average. So that's it's roughly 3 million years of life lost. So yeah, it's obviously significantly worse in terms of numbers of lives lost and years of lives lost. The Pepsid thing, Jennifer, I'm not sure there's much to that, but
Allie Lau wants to know, if your kids were young, would you be eager to get the vaccine? Thinking about signing up, but my kids are for the trial, but the kids are 7, 5, 2. Not sure if it's worth the risk.
I don't think it is going to be of any risk to your kids. I really don't. I mean, you can talk to the vaccine people, whether they feel there's any risk to people administering the vaccine, but I don't see where there's going to be a real risk to your children.
I mean, if you're going to be around of a lot of kids and you have grandparents, maybe.
All right, Andrew Ashkasvili, did you look into Florida starting to require every positive test to show the threshold cycle in the PCR? And that's what the talk about the Pfizer vaccine making women infertile and 4 cases of palsy. Also, what's the talk about Pfizer vaccine making women infertile and 4 cases of palsy? There were 4 cases of Bell's palsy in the Pfizer vaccine
No, it
group.
says cerebral palsy.
No, yeah, I know. It was
Bell's
Bell's palsy. It was Bell's palsy, and there were 4 cases, and that was in the statistics of the breakdown. That was a normal incident for the number of people in the vaccine study. So it was considered incidental to the population. Could it have had some causative influence? Maybe. The infertility thing, I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know what that is. I'm guessing it's some confluence of some other study.
It doesn't matter if you're over 50 or 60.
Ill in January.
The Bell's palsy sucks, though. I've had that. It sucks.
Yeah. Possible effects of asymptomatic COVID getting a vaccine. Possible effects of asymptomatic. We don't know. I don't know if anybody knows that. In other words, if you had COVID, didn't know it, and then ended up getting the vaccine, probably nothing. I mean, that's just the way vaccines generally are. 7 to 10-year-olds committing suicide. What the F? Yeah, there's lots of horrible things going down on the mental health front.
No, somebody had a call about an 8-year-old client having suicidal thoughts and threats related to COVID.
So Trigga Dre says, I work in a memory unit, a dementia unit. The virus just came through this building, passed in a week, 1 death. Most had mild symptoms. Most flu seasons are far worse, which is true of many of these skilled nursing type facilities. Why did the FDA drag their feet? England was working 24 hours a day to get it done. I know it's a little bit disconcerting. If you had COVID and recovered, why are you wearing a mask? I don't know. I guess just to be PC. That's the only reason you would wear it, seems to me. It's the only disease that a symptom is not having a symptom. I don't know what you mean by that.
Somebody wants to know what the best vaccine: Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson.
Say it again. That what?
Which is the best?
Well, Johnson & Johnson is more of a traditional vaccine. It's a 1-dose vaccine. You don't have to get multiple doses. I think if all 3 were available right now, I would take the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And I want to remind everyone, you can sign up. Just go to Johnson & Johnson website, and you can sign up to be on the phase 3 trial. I'm trying to get Susan. In fact, Susan, you're all signed up for it.
Which one?
Johnson & Johnson phase 3 trial. Honey. And so I can get it, hopefully get one of the...
Are they going to email you or me?
You.
Well, then I have to keep my eyes open for that.
Yes, or it maybe call you. So I will have access to the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine because of being a healthcare provider. So I'm going to go get it. I don't want to risk having to take a vaccine. Otherwise, I do the Johnson & Johnson thing like tomorrow. But I don't want to get the placebo. I want to get the vaccine. The only way I can get Susan the vaccine for the next 3 months is if she gets into a phase 3 trial.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't care. I just want to get COVID.
So Kevin says states that have high mask compliance have spiking cases. What does that tell you? Mostly it tells me that when the virus goes up, it just goes up. And there's almost nothing we can do. And probably the same thing is true when it decides to go down. I talked to several doctors in New York during the big flood there, and their feeling was it had something to do with the epidemiology of the virus itself, not due to anything else. It just came and then it went.
Somebody asked, if you had COVID and recovered, why are you wearing a mask?
Right. I did that one. And I said, I don't know.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
God, you
Yep.
skipped over that.
Sorry.
So fast. I think it's more
Andrew,
for
again,
public reasons.
case-demic would end and we would get actual data. I agree with you. Every state should follow suit on requiring threshold cycles on every positive test.
Did you jump in the swimming pool today?
I did not. Do you think I should?
No.
Am I
Just curious. How
my affect isn't that great, I must admit.
You're fine.
Well, you just told me I made you anxious.
No, you're making them anxious.
Oh.
I'm used to it.
Oh.
I need to jump in the swimming pool.
When will I be able to get it, Ashley? Or somebody's asking that.
Is there any benefit to taking vitamin C before you sleep versus in the morning?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. I mean,
It's good to have food on your stomach.
yeah, if there are differences, it must be subtle differences. Okay.
It's so weird taking vitamins. I haven't taken them in years. Now I'm taking them all the time.
Cara, how do you curtail the...
I feel good, though.
Yeah, how do you curtail the grieving process? There's no shortcut on grieving. Unfortunately, you have to go through it, and some people it takes a long time. You just have to be patient with yourself on that one. The virus in India, this unknown virus, I don't have any data on yet.
You guys have a lot of great questions. It's just scrolling by so fast. Sorry if we didn't get to them.
Tiffany, please don't do that without talking to your doctor.
Anthony C. doesn't like me.
Why?
I don't know. Ask Anthony
Brown was laughing out loud at Anthony C.
I don't know. They're having a little conversation now.
I'm not sure what World Rewind, been COVID positive, 15 days, stomach issues persist. You know, you got to be careful. You can become a long hauler, right? I mean, you should certainly be taking the zinc and all these things, and you might check in with Dr. Yo. He's been prescribing people across the country ivermectin, particularly as they sort of start to moving into that long hauler category. Okay. Therapeutic availability evaluated.
Do you see the one about overhyping the death rate?
Better to beef up immunity, that says. Say that again. What, Susan?
The one about overly controlling the narrative, especially because of successive therapeutic availability and ventilators and increased knowledge.
Yep.
Media is overhyping the death rate to suit their leftist overly controlling narrative, especially because of the successive therapeutics available.
Yeah, a lot of people are going home after being in the ICU that would not have before, a lot. And again, let's look at California, where if you look at the big picture, full range, we are at 30,000 cases, but when we were at 12,000 cases, we were having 220 deaths a day at 12,000 cases. Now we're at 30+ thousand cases, and we're averaging around 85 deaths a day, which is not a great number. We could do better. But the point is, at 1/3 the cases, we had over twice the death rate. Think about that. I mean, that is improvement, man. That is improvement.
You know, I was a guest on Juicy Scoop. Somebody just said I should be on Juicy Scoop. I was just on it with Drew. I've never been alone, but I love Heather. We're going to see her on Friday. She's amazing.
Somebody on...
She's such a good producer.
Yes, she is. Somebody on Periscope, whose name I can't read, is asking, do I miss Adam Carolla? No, because I see him every day.
And you talk to him every day.
day.
You're supposed to have dinner with him tomorrow, but they close the restaurants because I saw
Thursday, he still wants to get takeout out and have dinner. He's still high. High pitch Eric is a very high risk, but he will not get. He might get it in Group 1B, but probably in Group 2. How long does it take for taste to return? Very variable. Variable. Why are we on so late? Derek wants to know. Susan was in a different city. And I don't have Fox News tonight. This is what I normally do my newscast, and we thought we would do it.
We're very happy for Jason Ellis. He just went live, and it was hugely successful. So many chats, and as a matter of fact, he's coming on our show tomorrow.
Great.
He's coming back to give us an update on
his new podcast.
That's a horrible picture of him. We have a new banner.
I know. He looks like Jason Statham in that.
Oh my God, it's so creepy. I don't like it. Okay, so we'll get the other banner up.
I've been very safe, but I'm taking a chance. We're going with family to Disney soon.
Nobody will see it.
We've been having second thoughts, considering the spike. Well, that's Tway. There's not much of a second spike. Look at the data in Orlando and see what you think. I don't know. To my knowledge, there's been almost no transmission associated with Disney World. But check the data. Check me on that. Somebody's saying, Mary Wells, why no Fox News? Fox 11, not Fox News, because we were preempted by NFL.
He has to correct you on that. Just so
people
don't go, ew, I hate you.
Yeah, just because you're on Fox News.
Fuck you.
Yeah, I think Simpsons, Family Guy, Fox Network.
We have some good guests coming up.
Yeah. How is Steven Adler? Susan, you had any contact with Steve? Susan actually has more contact with him than I
haven't
do.
talked to him, but I can text him. We'll get him on if you want to.
He might come on, yeah. Fauci is
Sure, he
Ashley.
will.
Absolutely, Fauci is still the North Star. He should remain such. And I'll repeat my my sort of admonition on that, which is he should be your North Star. Understand he's very conservative. He will overstate things to make sure the outcomes are good.
He just joined Biden's office.
That's what he does.
He's in.
He's always done that, and he will, but he is exquisitely careful in his positions and accurate. World Rewind wants to know what dinner was for. We went out. We're going to restaurants and trying to support
ordered
them.
out.
Yeah,
I
ordering
ordered
out.
to go. We have a
'Cause
friend who owns a restaurant.
Cannot stand that people's lives are being upended. It's just driving us batty.
I know. We spent a shit ton of money.
GSR, he's cautiously optimistic. That is Fauci. He's optimistic because the vaccines is ready to go. So, all right, Anthony Brown, First Lady of Love, just got a new girlfriend and asked her to wear a mask when we're having sex. Is that normal these days? She wants to end the relationship.
Oh. Well, it depends on where she's been. Like if she's been in quarantine for a week or so, it wouldn't be necessary. But if she's around a lot of people who might have it makes sense. I don't
Anthony,
know, but yeah, it kind of sucks.
I think you've been working too hard for too long. We need to coach you up on your social skills. Call me crazy. But if trust me that you're right that the respiratory tract is the primary means of transmission. So that's very interesting.
Why don't you guys go get a test?
Right. But if you're going to be spending time with her anyway, you're going to have to, she becomes your household, and you might as well get tested if that's what you're worried about.
Oh, God.
What's the matter?
I don't know. It's just like you're afraid to have sex with somebody. It's ridiculous.
I keep saying this, that, back in the days, the AIDS epidemic, where if you had sex and you transmitted that virus, it was at the time in the 80s and 90s when I was working deep in it, 100% fatal, 100% fatal. And we never told people, if you have sex, you're going to kill somebody. Now, if you don't wear a mask, if you have COVID, you're going to kill grandma. This is the most insane messaging we've ever adopted. It runs contrary to everything we know about public health and public health behavior. You've got to use humor and narrative and things that people can relate to, not these bizarre threats from on high. It's bizarre. We have a vaccine using the less likely to mutate than mRNA alternative, like a DNA vaccine. We don't have reverse transcriptase, so the RNA is not mutating, right? The RNA is already downstream from the DNA. I think that's what you're asking. Let's see. I'm seeing data come out of people in California showing that hospital numbers all over the state are no different than any other year for this time. Andrew, please send me that data. That's very interesting. They're having a surge. Like I said, they're having a lot of stress on the staffing and the hospital beds and the ICUs and things. There's no doubt, but it's an interesting question whether it's significantly different than other years at this time. It's a very interesting question.
This computer's pissing me off.
Why?
Because I'm downloading stuff from the mail, and I can't find it once I download it. It's so weird.
Place in Agoura Hills staying open, a restaurant. Must be a civil disobedience. We should frequent that restaurant. A surge and stress is normal this time of year, which is what they all say, right? And I would say what's probably different, again, hearing some of the demographic profiles, much older people surging in. Really old people are coming into the hospitals now. And so that's a feature of this COVID. I'm in California. People really do have COVID. Right, Carrie, but they're not necessarily going to the hospital. And so there's lots of mild disease out there, and that's why we're having the surge. Much of it is mild or even asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic. Yeah, GSR, the sheriff, all the sheriffs in Southern California said they're not going to enforce the lockdown orders. They have said that they are not going to be the muscle of an authoritarian government. The government has then said they're going to withdraw the county funding to support their hospitals, which will kill the people in the hospital. And the government is saying, and I asked the sheriff this last night, I said, let me be sure I'm hearing you right. Are you saying that they are going to withhold money that will result in deaths in the hospital if you are unwilling to be the muscle of an authoritarian government? Yes, that is what I'm saying. So that's what the sheriff of Riverside told me last night. Shocking. All the other sheriffs from all the other surrounding counties are standing with him. So There you go. San Diego Sheriff apparently is enforcing. Okay, well, he's an outlier. The L.A., San Bernardino, Riverside, I think even Ventura are all with the Riverside County Sheriff. Utah is very interesting. Somebody's asking about Utah because Utah has a very low fatality rate, like super low. It's just pegged at 1%. I'm looking at it right now. It's a fatality rate zero, not even 1%, 0.46%. So it's weird in Utah. I don't know what that is. Let me look at the overall case incidence in Utah. Why would Utah, and again, this is what public health officials should be answering for us. Yeah, you're having a little surge. Hospitalization, everything's plateaued compared to your previous. You've had very low levels previously. Death rate is still rather low. Again, 600 people in the hospital, but death rate of let's see what it is today, 14. So yeah, Utah is doing rather remarkably well. Let's see how far out I can go with the fatality rate. I'm gonna re-up this, see if there's a new set of data on this. Come on. Yeah, it's just pegged. It's 0.44%. Positive test rate's at 11.26, but the fatality rate is 0.44%. So it's very few people getting seriously ill from COVID in Utah. Maybe the lower obesity rate. You're right. Maybe that's it. Let's see what else you guys are saying. We've been at this for an hour. It's probably time to kind of wrap it up.
So pissed off.
What are you mad about?
I can't find where these are downloading. It's like it's a dirty trick. It used to work very easily.
Tiffany asked, do I have any crazy deathbed stories? Last time you're asking. I actually do. A lot of weird ones. A lot of weird stuff I've seen, including a guy saying he has an appointment with Joe and remind me I've got this appointment with Joe at 1 o'clock. And the family's thinking, well, Joe died years ago. I wonder what he's talking about. Died right at that time that he said he had the appointment with Joe. But, things happen. Get a drink on me, Robin says. Wow, Robin, thank you. Susan, that one's for you.
Thank you.
This drink's on me.
I need one.
It's a super chat. She's very generous.
Thank you. How much was it?
$49.99.
Oh, thank you. That you know what? That's what that bottle of wine costs.
I was going to say, send that money directly.
You guys are so nice with the super chats.
Send that money directly to the restaurants. Let's go support. We'll go out with that money immediately.
I haven't paid that bill yet. That's even after tax, so I got to pay the tax first to Newsom, and then I get to pay the restaurant. I'm sorry, I can't figure out where all my downloads are going. It's the funniest thing.
Thanks, Joe. Very kind. Hey, game guy, you're saying the same thing again, and I ask you the same thing again. What are the attacks against doctors in the media? I don't know what that attack is that you're referring to that Dr. Campbell was addressing. Am I on Fox 11? Am I telling people to take your prophylactic measures? I mean, the vitamins and things. I have listed them up there before. Can I recommend a nasal wash product? There's a xylitol that's got good data, and there is a betadine solution that has good data. So look those up.
Well, I can't promote anything. We have a couple of good guests coming up. We have Jason Ellis tomorrow, which I showed you the old picture, and I can't figure out how to. I've been working on this since I said something about Jason Ellis, so I'm giving up.
Oh, sorry.
I got to figure out where.
Chris, another super chat that I missed. My roommates all got COVID. We are fine, having since recovered. How long are we good for? We're under 35. You're certainly good for 6 months, so you can go about your life for the next 6 months. We'll know more then on whether or not there is good cellular immunity and how long. That's that company Additix I'm working with. That's what they want to do in the new year, start measuring that cellular immunity and giving people a score for how they're doing with that, and maybe find out ways that we can enhance that immunity even. Okay. All right, Susan, I think I'm going to wrap things up.
Anyways, we also have Dylan Howard coming in on Thursday.
Yeah, tell them what the plan is for that one.
Okay, hold on.
That is going to be him.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
One thing at a time here. I wish I had his poster. I have a poster of it, and then Mark Ergo said that he'd come in too.
Yes, Joe, there is good data about that, Joe Giannato. He put up some good articles on cross-immunity with T cells and other viruses.
My little posters and my little banners of upcoming shows, and I can't figure out where it's going on this freaking computer.
Joe's articles are up at local.com. Thank you, Ryan.
Under what? What's his
I maybe have 2 types of cancers and required to work in the office.
Is it in Dr. Drew's? Let me see something here. Photos. Let's see here.
At what age is it unsafe for my wife to have? What do you mean by unsafe, Grubhub? I mean, you can have babies into your 60s as a female sometimes, but having your own baby with that fertility issues is maybe what you're asking. So tested for cellular immunity, Karen. That would be look up Aditix score, ADTIXT. That they're coming up with that in the new year. I don't know if they have it yet.
Can't figure out where it went.
Can COVID cause nerve pain? Yeah, I think it can. Is Gavin Newsom vetting the vaccine before California can have it? Yeah, one of my colleagues asked a really high quality virologist who's on the committee why we need to recreate the wheel and have another set of scientists look at this. And he said, well, it'll help public confidence. So that answer is we don't need this. But he did say we're going to help with determining how to do the rollout. So that's fine. So there should be a committee in charge of that. Yeah, Dawn, there's some rumor about infertility in the vaccine. I don't know where that's coming from. I have not read that anywhere. Anthony Brown, 71 and 4 more to go. What is that? Joe and Anthony, are you playing quarters or something for something I say? Conjunctivitis. All viruses can cause conjunctivitis.
I found it.
Okay, what do you got?
I found my posters.
For the upcoming shows?
Yeah, I found one.
Oh, likes. Thank you, guys.
I'm just going to use this scary one of Jason Ellis. But
okay.
I have to show people.
World Rewind, you want to know the story of how Susan and I met? Listen to the Juicy Scoop episode that with Heather McDonald that she and I went through the whole story. So you can get it all there. Thank you, The Vapist. We love doing these podcasts. We like having everybody hang out. We had a Zoom group tonight with the locals group, and again, I was pointing out how much human just connecting and sharing, and how little of how we're being inundated with demands to do the opposite. Don't go to work. Don't see your friends. Don't go to restaurants. Withdraw. Isolate. And I'm here to tell you, don't cave to that. Find ways to reach out and sort of connect.
Yeah, for example, we got invited to dinner. We're going to Josh Flagg's house on Friday night, but we're going to sit outside. We have to bring like our warm weather or cold weather clothing,
right? And
sit outside. And he's getting a chef or whatever. Very nice guy, but it's like 8:30 at night. We're going to be freezing our butts off, but we are going to go. We just went to Mexico with these people, and nobody got sick. So, then we, and it's like I told his management, and she said, well, you don't want to do any social media because then they'll find out that you're out with your friends. And I was like, I don't care. I'm going out with my friends, and I'm not going to hide the fact that we're going to dinner with friends, and, and then have somebody catch us and take a picture and then out us. And then unfortunately also they won't let you come to work next week. So, and it wasn't just because we're going out with friends, but it was also
because I'm seeing patients. They said, because I'm seeing patients, but because I'm eating with people who I know, I am being restricted to home.
Fox 11
so
won't let them
I'm not allowed to go to the
studio.
I have to go do it all from here.
So I have to work. So I get to work for free.
Ned Marr sent us a very lovely holiday greeting. Said, love you too. Good information, healthy, happy holiday season to everyone. Nothing good or bad is forever. Sending love.
No, I agree. And we're very blessed. We're very fortunate. But I worry about the people who are not able to pay their rent and pay for their kids' Christmas gifts this summer or this winter. And, it's like it's Christmas. We can't get a tree. Sorry, we can't get a tree because, Dad just lost his job. And it's so painful. It makes me so sad.
Michael says, national news made it seem like if you were with your family at Thanksgiving, you would kill your whole family. That was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and there's been a little bit of surge since then. It was not, you're right, not it's going to kill everybody you come in contact with. Remember they said 2 weeks ago, if you had Thanksgiving, consider yourself infected. Do you remember that? They said that, where are we, 2 weeks out from that now? I had Thanksgiving. I'm not infected. How could that be? How's that possible? We're literally
We went to
we're
Mexico.
2 weeks away from Thanksgiving, and there's been, if you look at the data, there we were already well into a surge during Thanksgiving. I mean, it really did not start then. I mean, no matter where you look at the data, I mean, it was already well underway. So it's not Thanksgiving. In fact, it plateaued for the most part after Thanksgiving. So I would call those predictions incompetent.
I know. I don't
They're the
like
same
it.
incompetent decisions that led to them closing playgrounds in Southern California, outdoor restaurants. There's lots and lots of really incompetent decision making at work here, and let's call it what it is.
I mean, there
It's
are some hot
incompetent.
spots. We need to be careful. We have to watch out, and we have to make sure that, we're super safe. But it's just some of these areas, like, I mean, I hate to say it, where we are, we're not at risk at this point, and it just seems silly to shut down the whole city. It just breaks my heart.
Joe Giannotta sent a super chat, and he's sending some very nice greetings for us. And they've been on the Zoom party the whole time over at Locals, which we enjoyed joining today.
That's so funny.
All right. Here I go with the drunk uncle thing again. Uh,
Wait, hold on. It's okay. I'm trying to. Oh, I found it. Okay, finally. God, I don't know why it seems I have to talk to Caleb tomorrow because this is ridiculous.
and Jeanette, I read your little story here. Yes, I understand that's awful, but your surgeon is giving you good advice. Follow it. Okay. It is sort of fog of war a little bit, GSR. You're right. It's not the fog of war at the beginning because we really didn't. We know so much about the virus. We have so many good therapeutics. The vaccine is coming. It feels like like a burst, like a foggy sort of episode of war, but that we're going to kind of see our way through it. Yeah, you're right. It's kind of a fog of war in the sense that we don't know where the virus is going. We don't know how high is going to be with this. But you're right. It's not nearly as foggy as it was in the original outbreaks. I agree. Yes, Tim, Pasadena is still a nice place. Compared to Glendale, Burbank, Glendale's nice also. I'd put Glendale and Pasadena ahead of Burbank for sure.
Well, Glendale had an issue with the Armenian protests for a little bit.
Right. They had a big outbreak in Glendale and because of the Armenian protests. That is true.
So the writer / previous, he's a writer for the... Oops, let me turn.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Excuse me.
Oh, let me turn off the sound. Okay, so he used to work for the, and what was the name of that magazine?
It's funny how you can't think of it
The
now.
Inquirer.
Inquirer, yeah.
He was a big writer for the. Anyways, he's written a few books, and he was on a show before. We had him a few months ago. But anyways, he's coming back, Dylan Howard. He says he wants to talk about how the media has become weaponized and the desire of media professionals to bring people down, and what's the psychology behind embracing the woke movement and the determination to claim a scalp.
Dylan is a very smart guy, so I'm interested to hear what
What
he's got to
drives their
say.
agenda to be relevant? Have we as a society lost empathy?
Oh, boy, that's for sure. Lionel, yes, the mRNA
Anyways,
vaccine.
it's coming on Thursday.
The mRNA vaccine is brand new. It's in this country brand new. It's been deployed in other countries before. And the technology is awesome. I cannot wait to get that vaccine. I cannot wait. Moderna vaccine was developed back in January, but was not fully tested. The testing is what takes the time. How true is it that the vaccine changes the DNA? It is untrue. Untrue. Let me just underline. For RNA to affect DNA, you need something called a reverse transcriptase. You have to take the RNA and turn it into DNA, which is a very complicated chemical process. RNA does not affect DNA. RNA is built from DNA and then goes to ribosomes and build proteins. RNA in this case is just going into the cell, hitting the ribosomes, building the spike proteins. It can't it can't do anything with DNA without the reverse transcriptase, which is not part of this viral illness and not part of this vaccine. So does chlorine kill the virus? Yes.
I didn't mean to do that.
What's the matter? You're literally banging.
I lost the photo and now I have to find it again.
Of Dylan?
I think it was.
How long is the vaccine good for? We're not sure yet, Kara. It's certainly a year. How come multiple doses? Because that's how vaccines are. Sometimes they need two exposures to get maximal effect.
Oh, I can get it.
GSR, you were too kind. I don't think that is true. I don't think that's correct. Yes, again, a lot of you are dropping in. So again, you're asking things that I've already addressed, but I will do it again. Yes, there were 4 cases of Bell's palsy in the Pfizer vaccine, which is consistent with the random incidence of Bell's palsy in a population that size. So it is not thought to have anything to do with the vaccine.
Where was the Bell's palsy? Like I had
Face.
it?
Well,
Same as
Bell's
I had?
palsy is a paralysis of the facial nerve, so it's always the face.
I know I had it. I still have one of my eyes is a little different than the other now.
And don't need to apologize. I really was saying that I can't read your name because it's not lit up. But I'm sorry, the guy on Twitch. I was mostly pointing that out for other listeners who've heard me repeat myself. I don't want to, Pennsylvania going on lockdown starting Saturday. Let's look at Pennsylvania. Let's see. Okay. Pennsylvania. Again, not clear that lockdowns work, everybody. Pennsylvania looks just about like California. Yeah, looks just like California in terms of the behavior of the outbreak. But again, you were locked down at 1,200 patients a day, at 1,200 cases a day. Now they want to lock you down at 13,000 cases a day. Is 13,000 a lot for a state the size of Pennsylvania? Clearly, 1,000 wasn't that much, and yet they were using the words grim, cataclysmic, terrifying. They must be having a problem with hospital beds, because hospitals, when you had 1/10 the patient load, you had 3,000 hospitalized. Now you're approaching 6,000 hospitalized with 10 times the patients. Death rate is still lower than when you had 1/10 the patients. Now but that could be a lag. It could be a lagging factor. But right now you're about 150 cases a day. You were at 600 cases a day. Again, when you were at 1,000 a day, you were at 600 a day. Now you're at 12,000 or 13,000, and you're at 170 cases today. Let's see the day before if I can get that. About 160 cases a day.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, yes, people need to find out why it's spreading, where it's spreading, and do something about that. I completely agree with that. Steve, Moderna have rights to our RNA after the vaccine. No, this has nothing to do with our RNA. This is the RNA for the spike protein of the coronavirus, not our RNA, coronavirus RNA, or a likeness of the coronavirus RNA.
Which one of the podcasts explains that the best that we've done? With who?
Say that again.
We've done podcast after podcast about that. Which one's the best?
On the vaccine?
No, on the RNA. Where you talked about that.
Have we talked about that really with anybody?
I don't know. I figure we had.
Not really. We've been talking so much about cytokine and anti-inflammatories and that stuff. Okay.
This is the weirdest thing. It downloads and it doesn't. I don't know where the hell it's going. I am going to lose my mind. I have to ask Caleb tomorrow.
Mary says that Fauci still says the Thanksgiving Day spike is coming. I will disagree with that. He may be right. I disagree only with trepidation. But he used to also tell us we were going to have 2 million deaths from HIV and AIDS in the 1980s, and we had 175,000. So he tends to overstate certain things. Is hydroxychloroquine the go-for med in early treatment? It's looking more like ivermectin is. Again, you can look at that video that I was discussing earlier. And, of course, Joe Giannotta, I've forgotten the name of the guy again, did not stay with me. I should have written it down. But there is a really good video out there that reviews the data on ivermectin. Eric Anderson, an old Jordan Peterson lecture saying societies become open to totalitarian regimes when there are higher rates of infectious diseases. That kind of makes sense to me. Okay, GSR, I will do that. Okay, Zach, what should someone in recovery do if they need to take a benzo for an MRI? How does one avoid triggering their addiction? Interesting question. So don't take anything beyond what is absolutely necessary. Do not go home with a prescription. And when you go home, alert your recovering peers, who your sponsor, people you have coffee with, people at your meetings, what is happening to you, and prepare them that your thinking is going to be off for up to 2 weeks. once you're exposed to some of these medicines, particularly the opiates. Chris Martenson, yes, thank you, Joe. Chris Martenson is the video that I'm referring to where you can learn about ivermectin. But anyway, after you take the benzodiazepine, your disease will wake up. Your thinking will get distorted. You'll start to isolate. You'll start to become agitated. You will start to think strange things, share them all with your peers, and put your peers on alert that your disease is going to be inactive for a couple of weeks. And be careful, you're high risk for relapse after that. Yes, Chris Martenson. Thank you, guys. Oh, I didn't say Giannato, did I? It's Giannati. I'm sorry. Maybe I did that. Sorry about that. Can my doctor prescribe any therapeutics? Yes, there are some out there. Why are doctors not prescribing meds as soon as a patient tests positive? I am. I've been doing that. Had good results with that. Some doctors are, some doctors are not. And if my family gets sick with it, I assure you we will be on something quick.
Right.
Creating for we're going down a path here. I'm getting tired. I'm starting. We've been an hour and a half. I'm gonna wrap it up.
Tomorrow's the 9th, right?
Tomorrow is the 9th. I will double check that.
All right.
The 9th. I've got to be up very early again tomorrow. A lot of office, which is a lot of people I have to see, which is leading to me having to stay quarantined.
My life, so I get to do your TV show every night.
Not my fault.
God, I mean, whatever.
Whatever, indeed.
I know. It's just. I wish they'd pay me. It's just not right. So tomorrow we have Jason Ellis at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m.
That's a good
Eastern
picture
time.
of Jason, by the way.
Yeah, I finally got it to download it. I mean, I've been working on this the whole time. Anyways, he's coming back because he's got new plans. Somebody said he did a live stream tonight and had a lot of super chats, and people gave him a lot of money. So, he's got a really good following that from his Sirius Radio talking. He was so depressed last time. If you didn't see the show, you have to see the interview we did with him. It was so touching, and I had booked him before.
And I think we know why maybe now he was discontinued, because they re-upped Howard Stern for 5 more years.
5 years.
And so that might have something to do. Radio stations do stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, and Gina Grad just lost her job too on the Conway show.
Yeah, at the KFI.
It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Radio.
Once again, Dylan Howard, interesting stuff on Thursday. And then we're going to also try to get Mark Garagos in here.
Talk about his suit of the state. Bear hug. Zinc does not prevent infection. It just tilts things in your favor. It enhances your immune function. Nothing prevents you from getting this thing. And if you get it, the zinc may help you reduce complications. So going up to 50 milligrams if you're sick makes some sense. All right, Susan. Let's kind of wrap this thing up, okay? We thank you for being here, and I will see you tomorrow more at our normal time.
Okay.
Real talk.
Headlines have become it's sickening. They become poisonous.
Dissecting headlines.
Defying state orders. Sheriff Bianco not enforcing what the governor is saying.
Dialed in with decision makers.
Clarify what you actually meant.
Get the answers you need.
At the beginning of this, we were told, don't wear a mask. Is this really helping?
Expect a different kind of newscast. Fox 11 News Special Report. Weeknights at 7.